And on top of our news tonight, a legal practitioner, Akoto Ampaw, has called on Parliament to strip the president of solely appointing sensitive national office holders in order to tackle corruption.
While asking for Parliament to be made autonomous, he also encouraged the decoupling of the Attorney General's functions from that of the Minister of Justice. Akoto Ampaw spoke at the end of Phase 1 of the Star Ghana program.
Today I'm happy because most of my burden has been lifted as a teacher, and supervision very easy. You can move from one desk to the other. Attendance has improved.
These are but a few achievements that the Star Ghana funded Mission Ghana achieved. TV3, together with other media houses and civil society groups, benefited from the Star Ghana project. A pool of agencies including Danida, UK Aid, US Aid and the EU funded the project. Though the Star Ghana project has seen remarkable results in the last 5 years, the board says they expect government institutions to respond better to the issues raised. The chairman of the board, Professor Akilakwa, added the Star Ghana project has seen change, but this has not translated into accountability. Lawyer Akoto Ampaw, a member of the board, delivering the keynote address, said civil society cannot lead in the way of change in the country owing to their funding base. He called for a need to find ways of funding change without donor support.
Civil society organizations cannot presume to lead this necessary and compelling transformation agenda. Membership-based organizations rooted in economic relations and activities that have the organic interest and potential capacity to lead the change agenda.
Lawyer Akoto Ampaw also touched on a few national issues, including the decoupling of the Attorney General's office from justice.
A major crisis of our constitutional political architecture, in my view, has to do with the excessive dominance of the appointing powers of the executive. Excessive dominance of that, almost dictatorial. That is also a major agenda for constitutional reform, that civil societies can contribute to building a powerful, effective social movement to ensure, one, that the powers of appointment of the president are stripped down, two, that Parliament becomes more autonomous in its oversight capacity.
The stakeholder meeting ends the first phase of the Star Ghana project.
All right, so we have Daniel Batdam online, and he is the presidential advisor on governance and corruption at the presidency. Well, Daniel Batdam, good evening once again. I mean, the interview tonight is about a call made by a legal practitioner in Accra, lawyer Akoto Ampaw, who is asking that the president be stripped of some powers of appointing important national office holders in order to help the fight against corruption.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear your question very well, but I tried to listen to the audio a bit. Yeah. And what I heard Lawyer Ampaw say didn't seem to me to be the same as what you are saying. I heard him calling on civil society and other research organizations to set an agenda that will call for reforms in that direction. That is what I believe I heard. And if that is the case, why not? I mean, if we talk about challenges of the Constitution in terms of accountability of the President, the Executive, or any other group, the Constitution itself makes provision for us to always amend it whenever we think that it is not serving our purpose as a country. So, unless you are telling me that this was a specific call to the president, I think there is nothing wrong with him advocating, as it were, that civil society should call for reforms. In any case, we have had an opportunity through the constitutional review process to look at some of these things, and I believe that all Ghanaians that had an interest, like the lawyer in question, would have taken advantage of the constitutional review process, which involves widespread consultations across the country to make such input. But of course, it's never late. If today a group of Ghanaians think that our constitution, as it is not serving the purpose for which we constructed it the way we did, I'm sure there is always room for us to review it.
All right. Lawyer Akoto Ampaw's call was directed at Parliament to make reforms on the powers of the president to appoint people of national importance, and he thinks that will help to fight corruption in the country. But you were the presidential advisor on governance on corruption. What can you tell us about attempt to fight corruption from your point of view?
Oh, I think by now all Ghanaians should be interested in the 10-year National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, in short, the NACAP, which has been developed over the past couple of years, since 2009, which was launched in December 2014 by His Excellency the President, and which, in fact, earlier last year in July, our Parliament, across board, approved of it unanimously as the policy document and the national strategy that Ghanaians will use in the fight against corruption. This is a non-political strategy. It was done through broad consultation. The process of developing the NACAP took a lot of time and consultation, a lot of stakeholders, political parties, civil society groups, members of MDAs, that is ministries, departments and agencies, relevant MDAs, were all involved. So we have today a 10-year National Anti-Corruption Plan, 2015 to 2024. It cuts across regimes, and it is the document and the strategy that all of us as Ghanaians must use as our means, as the instrument, as a weapon for fighting corruption over a longer term period. So the presidency and the government has provided Ghanaians with one unique opportunity, the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan. It's a long-term plan. It is not about a political party or the other. It is about different ways in which we can be more mobilized as a people to tackle the issue of corruption that is eating so deep into our national political fabric.
So, but finally, is there any immediate gain that you can tell us about this fight against corruption from your point of view?
Anti-corruption strategy or plan must always have some short, medium, and long-term plans and also benefits. In the short term, we will have to be looking at the awareness creation, which is very key. You and I know that even as Ghanaians, we sometimes appear not to agree on what corruption is. So in the short term, we want to raise national awareness. And I am happy to tell you, to use your medium to say that next week, there will be a training and capacity building for the group known as the High-Level Implementation Committee of the NACAP, so that their own capacities will be built in the first place, because they are going to serve as the policy guidelines. They will be the ones to guide the policy implementation. Right. And that is already the beginning of the awareness raising, because we think that the starting point is a knowledge of and understanding of the issue of corruption. Okay. In the medium to long term, there will be institutional and systems reforms, and I'm sure we will get to know these as they roll out.
Many thanks for your time, Daniel Batidam, the presidential advisor on governance on corruption, responding to a call by a legal practitioner, Akoto Ampaw, that the president be stripped of solely appointing sensitive national office holders in order to help in the fight against corruption.